Now determination of speed of sound. It is a very simple thing. Just you choose two places which are far away from each other. A and B, there are two places which are far away from each other. Now at the point A, there is a gun and here there is a stopwatch, and at the point B, another observer is there, and you know what is the distance between the two places, that is known to you. Now what is done? There will be two observers. One observer will have a gun and another observer will have a stopwatch. Alright. So how this is done? First the observer A fires the gun. Okay. So the moment the observer A fires the gun, then what will happen? The observer B will see the flash of firing at the same moment, isn't it? So the moment the observer at B will observe the flash of firing, then he will start his stopwatch, and after some time when he will receive the sound of firing, he will stop the stopwatch. I repeat, what the observer at the point B will do, will start the stopwatch the moment the gun is fired, after seeing the flash of firing, and when he will stop the stopwatch after getting the sound of firing. Alright, so let that time be T1. Clear? Now after that what will happen? A will, means the gunman A will come here, means here will be the gun, and the observer B will come here, means the stopwatch, with the stopwatch they will change the position. Alright. Why it is done? Because you see, due to the flow of wind, alright, the velocity of sound you may not get the exact value if you do not change the position. Alright. So that's why what is done, that observer A and B, they change their position and they repeat the same thing. Means now the gun is fired. The moment gun is fired, this one observer at A will start the stopwatch. The moment he will hear the sound, will stop the stopwatch and measure the time T2. Alright, then you take the average of the two time, let it be T, and then distance between the two places is measured. So what is the velocity of sound? Velocity of sound is d by t. So this is the simple experiment by which you can measure the speed of sound. Now the interesting topic is speed of sound in different medium. Now speed of sound in any medium is given by this relation. Speed of sound is given by under root E by rho. It is a Greek letter rho, everybody knows. Alright, E stands for coefficient of elasticity of the medium, and rho is known as density of the medium. Alright, now Newton first suggested that propagation of sound in a medium is a isothermal process. So you must note it down. Newton told that propagation of sound in a medium is an isothermal process. Alright. Now what is the meaning of isothermal? Isothermal means temperature of the system, means of the medium, remain constant. What is the meaning of isothermal? That temperature of the system remain the constant. During any process, if temperature of the system remain constant, then it is known as isothermal process. So Newton, what he said, that when sound is propagating through a medium, then temperature of the medium remain constant. And so he said that propagation of sound in a medium is an isothermal process. And if the sound is propagating through a medium, it is an isothermal process, then it can be proved that E becomes equal to P. E becomes equal to P for isothermal process. Alright, P is the pressure. P is what? pressure of the medium. So you see, you can write velocity of sound according to Newton. According to Newton, what is the velocity of sound? E by rho, and E you can substitute it by pressure. So pressure by density. So according to Newton, one can write that velocity of sound is equal to under root P by rho. Alright. Now if you substitute the value of P and rho, then it comes 279.5 meter per second. Alright, if you substitute the pressure of air, normal pressure of air 76 centimeter of mercury, and the normal density or density of air under normal temperature and pressure, if you substitute these two values, then speed of sound in air according to this theory, it comes to 79.5 meter per second. Alright, but what is the experimental value? Experimental value of V is how much? 330 meter per second. Alright, but theoretical value, how much you are getting? 279.5 meter per second. Means there is a large difference between the theoretical value and experimental value. So Newton was wrong at some point. Alright, now where Newton was wrong? Now where Newton was wrong and who corrected Newton? It was scientist Laplace. So we say it as Laplace's correction. Alright, Laplace's correction of Newton's formula. Laplace said that as Newton said that propagation of sound is an isothermal process, that is wrong. The formula was not wrong. V is equal to E by rho, that formula is not wrong. But what Newton said? Newton said that propagation of sound is an isothermal process. Laplace said that that is wrong. Propagation of sound is an, what Laplace said? Laplace said that propagation of sound is an adiabatic process. It is not it is an adiabatic process. Alright, now what is the meaning of the adiabatic process? Adiabatic means total heat of the system remain constant. What is the meaning of isothermal? I said isothermal means temperature of the system remain constant, but Laplace said no, it cannot be. It is adiabatic process, means total heat of the system remain constant. So let us understand it, how it is happening. We know that when sound propagates through a medium, then what happens? Alternate compression and rarefaction regions are produced. Alright? This we know. Now, we know this also, when you consider any liquid or gas and you sprayed it before going to the school, the moment you are going to the school, before that when mom gives you a very hot health drink, then what you do? How you cool it down? You just pour it on the saucer. You sprayed it on the saucer. Isn't it? So when you sprayed it in the saucer, you will see that temperature decreases. This is your practical experience. So apply that here. What is happening when the sound is propagating through the medium? Alternate compression and rarefaction region is produced. So in the rarefaction region, air it expands, density decreases. So what happens in the rarefaction region? Temperature decreases. Alright, and in the compression region, as they are getting compressed, so what happens? Temperature increases. Alright, but what Newton said? Newton said isothermal process, temperature remain constant. So temperature cannot remain constant. In the rarefaction region, temperature should decrease, and in the compression region, temperature should increase. Alright, now how we can justify Laplace's statement? We know that air is a bad conductor of heat. Alright, now as air is a bad conductor of heat, what will happen? Heat of the compression and rarefaction region will be within them only, within themselves only. They will not be able to conduct to each other. Otherwise, what would that happen? That from the compression region, heat may go to the this one rarefaction region, but it never happens. Alright, why it never happens? Because air is a bad conductor of heat. So, as it is a bad conductor of heat, it cannot conduct heat from one place to another. So, what happens? Total heat of the system remain constant, and that's why you can say that propagation of sound in air is not an isothermal process as Newton said, but it is an adiabatic process according to Laplace's correction. Alright, and for an adiabatic process, E is given by gamma into P. I hope you can remember. For isothermal process, what I wrote, E is equal to P. But in this case, when the process is an adiabatic process, how it is coming, that in higher classes you will learn. Now there is no scope that I can explain that. So you have to just remember it. Coefficient of elasticity of the medium, it becomes equal to gamma into P, where P is the pressure. And what does gamma represent? Gamma is Cp by Cv. Alright, Cp is specific heat capacity at constant pressure, whereas Cv is specific heat capacity at constant volume. Alright, and for air, gamma is 1.41. Got it? So you see, according to Laplace's correction, what is the expression for V is coming? V is gamma P by rho. Sorry. V is given by under root gamma P by rho. Alright, and remember gamma is equal to Cp by Cv, and for air the value is 1.41. So if you substitute the values of gamma P and rho, then the value of V, it comes 330.7 meter per second, which is nearly equal to the experimental value. Alright, so this is known as Newton's formula with Laplace's correction. Alright, so this ultimate formula V is equal to gamma P by rho, you must learn and remember. That is the speed of sound in different media. It is given by under root gamma P by rho. Okay, P is the pressure of the medium and rho is the density of the medium. The next topic is factors on which speed of sound depends. Alright, speed of sound from this relation you don't have to write, I am just writing it for your understanding. Gamma P by rho. So you see speed of sound depends on rho, density of the medium. Kindly do not write density. Okay, when you will write in the exam, please write whose density, refer to it. Density of the medium. Okay, through which the sound is propagating. So, density of the medium, how does it depend according to this relation? It is inversely proportional to square root of density. So, those who are unable to write the relation in statement, if you can write down it symbolically correctly, then also full marks you will get. So kindly either you write down in full sentence, correct sentence, unable to write the correct sentence, then write down symbolically. What I said, speed of sound is inversely proportional to square root of density of the medium, and this is the symbol that V is proportional to 1 by under root rho. What does it mean? That if density increases, then speed of sound decreases. Alright, and if density decreases, then speed of sound increases. Then next factor is speed of sound depends on temperature of the medium. How does it depend? Here you see I have written V proportional to under root big T. Big T means it is the absolute temperature of the medium. Okay. So speed of sound is directly proportional to the square root of absolute temperature of the medium. Alright, but if you want to get the relation between speed of sound and temperature measured in degrees Celsius, then this is the relation. That Vt means what? Here subscript is T. Don't write it like this. Okay, it means that V into T. This is not the way to write. You will write this way. T is the subscript here. So Vt is equal to V0 plus 0.61 into T. Here T is measured, small t I have written, and you know that in physics when we write down small t for temperature, it means that it is measured in degrees Celsius, and when we write down big T, it means that we are measuring it in absolute scale. Okay, so here what is the meaning of this, and from this one relation I have written that Vt is the speed of sound at T degrees Celsius, V0 is the speed of sound at 0 degrees Celsius, and T is the change in temperature. So what is Vt? Speed of sound, speed at T degrees Celsius. It is understood it is speed of sound, not your speed. And V0 is speed of sound at 0 degrees Celsius. And what does T represent? This is the change in temperature, means increase or decrease in temperature. So you see, according to this relation, if you increase the temperature of the medium by 1 degree Celsius, then speed of sound will increase by 0.61 meter per second. Alright, if temperature of the medium increases, okay, I am writing it, this is one important point. If temperature of the medium increases by 1 degree Celsius, then speed of sound will increase by 0.61 meter per second. This will help you also to solve the numericals. So these are the two ways speed of sound depends on density of the medium and temperature of the medium. Now next factor on which speed of sound depends is the humidity of the medium. How does it depend? Speed of sound increases with increase in the humidity of the medium. Kindly write down the sentence I have written. Don't write directly proportional. Okay, because several times I said that if the speed of sound increases with increase in the humidity, then you cannot write they are directly proportional until the ratio is constant. Okay, so it is better to write speed of sound increases with increase in humidity of the medium. So let us see how it increases. Now for humid air, alright, for humid air, amount of water vapor present in the amount of water vapor present is more. Alright, okay, don't have to give the arrow. Amount of water vapor present in air is more. So what is happening? The amount of water vapor is more than the amount of air molecule present for a certain volume of air. So what happens? As a result, what happens? Average density of air decreases. Alright, average density of air decreases. And just first factor we have seen, if the density decreases, then what happens to speed of sound? Speed of sound increases. So what is the conclusion you can write? So speed of sound, or V I am writing, V increases. Is that clear? So this is the way you can clarify your answer if it comes, that what happens if the humidity of a medium increase, what happens to the speed of sound if the humidity of the medium increases. So you can write like this, speed of sound increases with increase in humidity of the medium. Then for humid air, amount of water vapor is more, so average density of air decreases, so speed of sound increases. And in the reverse manner, for dry air, what you can write? For dry air, amount of water vapor present in air is less, so average density of air increases, so speed of sound decreases. So this is the way humidity controls the speed of sound in the. Next one is speed of sound also controlled by the flow of wind within that medium. Alright, just consider this case. Suppose the velocity, the sound is propagating along this direction and wind also moving in the same direction. So you see what the wind will do as they are moving, it will push sound more than its original distance travelled in per unit time, isn't it? So what will be the speed of sound? It will be Vs plus Vw. Alright. Now if it happens like this, that sound is propagating in this direction and wind is moving in the opposite direction, then what will happen? What will be the speed of sound? It will be Vs minus Vw. Is that clear? Now if it happens like this, speed of sound is in this direction and wind is moving in this direction, whereas angle between two is theta, then what will be the speed of sound? It will be Vs plus Vw cos theta. Alright, so you see from this explanation it is clear that speed of sound depends also on the direction of flow of wind. So these are the 4 factors on which speed of sound depends and is a very favorite topic of all examiners. So please kindly learn it properly. Next one is factors on which speed of sound does not depend. Alright, now first one, what I have written, speed of sound does not depend on pressure of the medium. Alright, now you may be thinking that Miss has become mad because Miss only gave us the formula V is equal to gamma P by rho, where P is the pressure of the medium, but again I am saying that speed of sound does not depend on pressure of the medium. Alright, so I have to justify myself. So let us try to find out that how I can say that speed of sound does not depend on pressure of the medium. Alright, so here let me first write V does not depend on pressure. Alright, so let us try to find out how it is not depending. So let us consider that pressure increases. Alright, pressure of the medium increases. Now, when pressure will increase, then what will happen to the volume? Volume will decrease. Isn't it? According to Boyle's law, you know, for a constant mass of air, if the pressure increases, then what will happen? Volume will decrease. Now, we know density is equal to mass by volume. Isn't it? So you see, if volume decreases, what will happen to density? Density will increase. Is that clear? So when pressure increases, then what happens? Density increases, and pressure by density means the amount by which pressure increases, in the same amount density will also increase. So the ratio of pressure and density remain constant. So what will happen? Speed of sound, which depends on the ratio of P by rho, it remain constant. So fantastic, no? That you are increasing pressure, then also V is remaining constant. Why? Because if you increase P, then you cannot do it keeping the density constant. The moment you will increase pressure, what will happen to density? Density will also increase. As a result, V will remain constant. Okay. So this is the point-wise clarification that why speed of sound does not depend on pressure. Alright, very important factor. I am teaching it, and every year, this is my experience, at least 20% girls, if the question comes in exam, they will write that speed of sound directly proportional to square root of pressure, because V is equal to gamma P by rho written. So girls, please remember this point. This is a very, very important factor, that pressure, speed of sound does not depend on pressure of the medium. The next other factors on which speed of sound does not depend is amplitude of the wave. Now speed of sound, you have seen in the expression nowhere amplitude is there. So you can say that speed of sound does not depend on amplitude of the wave. The next one, speed of sound does not depend on frequency of the wave. How I can say? Because I also said another relation for V, that V is equal to F into lambda. So you see I am writing V is equal to F into lambda, and then again I am saying that V does not depend on F. How? Because when F will increase, frequency will increase, then what will happen? Lambda will decrease. So one increasing, another decreasing. So what will happen to the product by the same amount? So what will happen to the product? Product will remain constant. So why you can write that V does not depend on F, as F increases, lambda decreases, and F into lambda remain constant. Now same thing applicable here also, for lambda also. If you increase lambda, what will happen to F? F will decrease. If you decrease lambda, what will happen to F? F will increase. So what is happening? The product remaining constant. So you can say that the speed of sound does not depend on frequency. Speed of sound does not depend on wavelength of the wave. So these factors on which speed of sound depends, how does it depend? And the factors on which speed of sound does not depend, very important for your exam, all kind of exam. Now if you consider sound, now all sound we cannot hear, alright. For a definite frequency range, human can hear the sound, alright. The sound whose frequency lie within 20 Hertz to 20 kilohertz are known as the audible sound or sonic sound. Alright, what I said? Sonic sound or audible sound. So what is the audible range of sound? 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz, or you can write it as 20 kilohertz. But here also there is a nice fact that children can hear till 30 kilohertz. Adult can hear till 20 kilohertz, but children can hear 30 kilohertz. And when a person become aged, then due to age, hearing problem arises. In that case, aged person can hear till 12 kilohertz. Alright. So this range of frequency you have to learn and remember that for adult person 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. For children it is 20 hertz to 30 kilohertz. And for aged person it is 20 hertz to 12 kilohertz. Now the sound whose frequencies are less than 20 Hertz are known as infrasonic sound, and the sound whose frequencies are greater than 20 kilohertz are known as ultrasonic sound. This ultrasonic sound plays a very important role in our lives due to its properties. So you have to note down and you have to know what are the special properties of ultrasonic sound. Now what are the important properties of ultrasound that makes ultrasound very important to us, okay, useful to us. First point is it is very much highly energetic. Ultrasound is highly energetic. What is the meaning? Ultrasound can carry a very large amount of energy with it. Why? Because energy of a wave, it is given by this relation. E is equal to H into F. H is the Planck's constant and F is the frequency. Now we know that frequency of ultrasound is greater than 20 kilohertz, greater than 20,000 hertz. So frequency of ultrasound is very high. So energy of ultrasound also very high according to this relation. So it is highly energetic. Another important property of ultrasound is it is highly directive. Directive means what? It can travel along a well-defined straight path for a longer time. Alright. So these are the two properties which makes ultrasound very useful in our lives. So we have to know in which cases we use ultrasound in our lives. First one is ultrasound used in sonar, sound navigation and ranging, by which you can find out or detect any object underwater. Not only that, you can find out what is the depth of the object underwater. Alright, so it is used in sonar to detect, find the depth of any object underwater. Here one thing I want to mention, when you write down sonar, then SONAR, all should be capital, because this is the abbreviation of sound of navigation and ranging. Okay, so that's why SONAR should be written capital. Then it is used also in surgery to remove cataract. What is done? Ultrasound, and it carry very high energy, so it can create a large amount of vibration, and cataract means, you know, that a hard layer is formed over the eyeball. So by ultrasound, what the doctor does, that vibration is created and that one, the hard layer, it is broken into tiny small pieces. Then by using a sucker, the tiny pieces are taken out. So that is the way ultrasound is used in surgery to remove cataract. Not only that, if kidney stones are there or stones formed anywhere within any organ, then also doctors use ultrasound to break that stone into small pieces by creating a large vibration. Another one is ultrasound is used in ultrasonography. You know, ultrasonography means what? By using ultrasound, you can take the image of any internal organ of a patient. Then ultrasound is used also to detect defects in metals. Ultrasound is passed through the metal. If there is no defect, then ultrasound will just pass through the metal. But if there is a defect, means if there is a crack, if there is a cavity in the metal, then what will happen? Ultrasound will reflect back from the metal. So by using this technique, one can find out any defect in metal by using ultrasound. Another is ultrasound is also used for drilling holes in metals or any hard object, because as I said that ultrasound can carry a large amount of energy with it. So with that high energy, what it can do, it can drill or it can make a hole on a hard object. So these are the point wise I have written and I have written exactly in the same manner that you need to write in board exam. Only highlighted the key words. Okay, you don't have to write in details, you write point wise but highlight the key words. So that is the way I have written the uses. So you too write down the uses of ultrasound exactly in the same manner. So we have got the concept of sonic sound, ultrasonic sound and infrasonic sound. Now there is another term which is known as supersonic. Alright. Remember that supersonic term is associated with an object whose speed is greater than speed of sound in air. Suppose you consider a jet is moving with a speed of 500 meter per second. Then we consider the jet as a supersonic object. Alright, so what are the differences between ultrasonic and supersonic? Ultrasonic is a sound wave, alright, whereas supersonic is an object whose speed is greater than 330 meter per second or greater than speed of sound in air. So for ultrasound, its frequency is greater than 20 kilohertz, whereas for supersonic, its speed is greater than 330 meter per second. So these are the differences between ultrasonic and supersonic. By mistake, don't write supersonic sound. Alright, supersonic term is associated with an object, whereas ultrasonic term we associate it with a sound wave. And these point differences also note down, and this is also another important topic for your exam. Thank you girls. This is the end of this chapter.